You really have to watch who you let lay hands on you, man. Because God will warn you. And at the same time, you really have to be careful. Especially people in the church, right? You have to be careful. Oh, can I pray for you? And meanwhile, it's a person who's not even of the Most High. It's not even with the light, but they're just going to try to pray and try to put a curse on you or try to swap whatever's with you on them. I'm telling you. And you're going to see this in the church, man. Your discernment, you're going to see it in the church. Ask God to give you discernment, right? So you step into a church, right? Even if you're a visitor, any church you go to, the spirits will start operating and manifesting, right? And people, I'm telling you, even from the strangers to the people in the church, it don't matter. Once the discernment kicks in, it's over. So when you go as a visitor into a church, some of these people, and I'm not saying all, because there's good and there's dark, right? But there's a lot in there. You can see through the fake smiles, right? So you see it. So as you're going into these churches and you sit down minding your business, you got the congregation, you got the pastor, you got whoever's in charge, and then you got the security who be lined up by the benches there to look at the kids to see who's acting up or try to keep people in check and all that, the security. So as you sitting down minding your business, right, listening to the service or whatever. And this was when I learned how to be careful about laying who you have lay hands on you, right? So this I'm going into this church, right? And I don't even know why. Something just told me, all right, just go in. And I'm seeing how the service is playing out. And as I'm sitting there, I'm watching with the discernment. And I'm praying in my mind. I'm praying. And I see the people in the church, the ones who help out the pastor, right? The congregation, those who's lined up, right? I'm seeing them get uncomfortable. And this is when I didn't know at the time, like I'm still in the process of learning, right? You learn something new every day. So I stay humble all the time. I'm always welcome to learn something new, even with the experiences that I experienced. And if somebody else experienced something and they share something too, cool, what's up, man? You learn something new every day. So you stay humble. So I'm over here, I'm learning. And at the same time, it was like God warned me. God warned me. This is when I learned about watch who you let lay hands on you, because here I am going to a church visiting for the first time, watching. And not only that, when I had my spiritual awakening, I went to another church that my grandma went to, and that was crazy. I saw shapeshifters, I saw all that stuff in there. So here I am after going through what I went through, after the awakening, going into another different church, right? Into another church as a visitor. And I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting there watching, and I'm seeing the people in the church, the discernment. I'm noticing that there's people and they're doing the same thing with the discernment that I see the agents do from the outside. When spirits get irritated, the or the spitting or the yawning or the uncomfortable that they do. So I'm noticing, I'm seeing it inside too in here. And I'm like, yo, okay. And I'm praying in my mind, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing some of these people standing still, like the security smiling at people like this, and some of them are looking at me and they squinting and making faces, right, in the spirit. And the pastor himself, whoever's coming out there to talk, as they speaking, they're having their eye on me. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Now I'm seeing people, now it's the prayer, right? Whoever wants to come to the front and start praying when they start doing that stuff, right? So now I'm seeing people either coming to the front or there's people coming up to them to start praying, right? Lay hands on people. And this guy comes up to me. He was like, can I pray for you? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You can. And this was me not knowing too much about the experience, about be careful who you let lay hands on you. So this is when I learned, and when God allowed me to see what was going on, so I could be like, oh shoot, right? So in the process, when the individual asks for that from me, the discernment, I know you start getting this feeling when God wants to warn you, when God wants to show you something, and when God wants to reveal something, when God wants to protect you too, He's gonna like hit you with this discernment, or you're gonna feel this strange feeling, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm feeling this in my mind, in my spirit. I'm like, okay, what is this about? All right, what's going on? And all I'm hearing is stay in prayer. So while this individual is praying on me, speaking how he's speaking, I'm still praying in my mind, while this man is praying on me. This came out of nowhere. This is God, like literally. And I'm blocking and I'm binding and I'm rebuking the prayer of this individual. It just naturally came out of nowhere to do this, right? And as the person's praying for me, I feel like he's trying to rotate my body, right? And as this man is praying, I hear like the voice like a snake, right, with my eyes closed, right? But I'm still, I'm binding, I'm rebuking, and I'm dismantling. I'm like, every single prayer, every word that's being spoken, word curse, I bind it, rebuke it. I'm praying in my mind, and I'm here, and I'm seeing this guy with my eyes closed. As he's praying, I feel he's shaking, and he's, I'm like, oh, okay, it's an agent. So now when I open my eyes, right, as they praying, and I'm hedge of protection, and he's praying and I'm praying too, blocking the prayers. So I'm feeling what I'm feeling, and the lady, I see a lady in front of me laying hands on somebody. Her eyes turned white, her face went demonic, her tongue came out like a snake, laying hands on somebody praying. And this is when I started to see, and I was like, oh snap, there's agents in the church, and there's literally witches, warlocks, there's demons out here shape shifting, and they literally either suppressing demons on people or putting demons on people through prayer. And this same individual here was trying to do that to me while he was praying, trying to put a curse, but that was God. Gave me the warning. And all of a sudden in the mind, it just, the prayer naturally came, and I felt the presence of God. And those people too in the church too, that's when they started to get bothered. And I just left out that church, but that's when I learned through the experience. And when God allowed me to see, that's when I learned, and I was like, oh, you really can't let anybody just pray over you. You just cannot. I was like, even if they look like they going to church or when they in the church laying hands, you can't, because the agents is in there too. So that was God allowing me to see in this church. These niggas' faces was changing, like demonic, eyes white like a snake, and there's people like that in these churches. The agents is in there. Either that person ain't getting delivered, they suppressing it, or they putting one in there. Ain't nothing happening. But when you have the discernment, when you see in these churches, they all do the same thing from what you see from the outside. The spirits getting bothered. The faces, they make the fidget. You see that, man. And when that individual was praying to me and he was starting to talk, as I began to pray, to block those prayers, to block it, to defend it, put a fire on me, hedge of protection during this man's prayer and his words, and I'm blocking, binding those words, and I'm hearing the coughing out of his mouth, and nothing worked, and he stopped. It was something that he couldn't really finish the prayer. He stopped in a way, and then he had to just walk away. And that's when I started to see in my eyes, when I opened my eyes, that's when God he showed me through the spiritual eyes, and I was like, whoa. I started seeing all these people, faces, demons changing, laying hands, even the pastor up there. And I'm looking at the church, and I'm like, yo. And this happens in the churches too. When you see all this stuff going on in the church, you have to look at the pastor and the congregation and the people in the church too, to be like, where is that anybody's discernment in the church? Where's the discernment if you can't even see it? Where? Where's the discernment? You have to look at the pastor. You have to look at the congregation. Not the visitors. Not the visitors. Not the one who's going there for seeking for help or to learn the word. You got to look at the people who's up there on that mic speaking, and look at them, and you go, where's your discernment that you can't see your congregation, the people you have around you, and you don't see them laying hands on people and their faces turn into, like, you don't see it? You don't see the agents in the church? You don't see? That's right. Because you're an agent yourself, right? You in a coven, like, you're in a group, like, oh, okay. You see this. So be careful, man. God will warn you as well. So just because people be so quick to be like, yo, can I pray for you? Can I pray for you? Don't ask God, yo, discern. Pray to yourself, man. Like not to, like, pray to God, like, personally by yourself, to God, you and God. You and God. Pray to God. You and God. Have a conversation with you and God. God and you. Okay? Because God will let you know, okay, if this person can't come and there is good, there is bad, man. There are people out there when they lay hands and they will heal you. They will. Because God is on them. There are people like that. When they pray for you, God will use them to heal you. You will feel it. And then there are those whose agents, that's not from God, but they trying to do the same thing. They pray, but you feel and you see those spirits coming out, and while they praying on you, and you feeling like what's going on? Be careful who you have lay hands on you. That's all I'm saying. Be careful, but ask God to give you discernment, because they all do it. They all do it. When I say they all do it. Race don't mean nothing. Gender don't mean nothing. Age limit don't mean nothing. If that spirit is irritated, if that spirit is not from God, if that spirit is in the dark and is masquerade hiding, you're going to see it from you, if you know them or you don't know them, and they all do the same thing. Even if the person is trying to come to you asking to lay hands on you, discernment, expose it, and they come into you in the spirit, can I pray for you? You're going to see it. You're going to see it. They all do the same tactic. They all do it. They do that. They do this. They make a face. They do that with the nose. They snare. They spit. Or they spit if it's indoors. They yawn. They cough. They fidget. They look amongst themselves. They code one another because the spirits speak to one another. Look at the face. Either if it's a dead eye or they make an angry, mean mugging you for no reason. Whether you know, just watch. Peep the body language. Peep the face. Because if you see it from the outside, if you see it from those closest to you, I guarantee you and I promise you, you're going to see it in the church too. You're going to see the same thing in the church too. In the church too. You're going to see it in the church too. Even the ones who, even in your family too, the ones who hold the Bible, know the word, and you be seeing how they try to look godly, but you see the spirits that either they battling or the stuff they in the dark with. You see it on them too. You see it. They can't hide it. They can't hide it. They can't. So be careful. Ask God to give you discernment. Be careful who you let lay hands on you. And when that was done to me, when the person came to me to pray, when I came into this church, that was like the first time when I was like, okay, that's when I was learning, when God was showing me and when God was giving me that lesson and experience, like, this is what I'm trying to show you. Be careful. There's agents in the church. Be careful on who you have lay hands on you. I'm showing you. It was just a feeling that I got, that it just came out of nowhere. The warning came quick when this person was asking to pray. And I was just like, okay, I'm thinking it's the church thing. Okay. It just came in. Boom. Pray in my mind. Protection. Hedge of protection. Pray. And when I heard pray, it naturally just started kicking in. To bind, to block, to rebuke, and disrupt whatever the prayer was coming through, because I wasn't even from God. I was literally a warlock trying to pray on me. So you got witches and warlocks in the church too. And I was just like, whoo. But I felt it as I had my eyes closed praying. I felt that his spirit was getting irritated and bothered, because as he's praying and talking, he started to sound like a snake. He began to do the same, the coughing, as I'm praying to rebuke it and bind it and expose the spirits around me. Then that's when he started to get revealed. Show me, boom, open my eyes. There was a lady in front of me like this, laying hands on a woman, and she looked at me, face turned, her eyes turned white, snake came out, the skin color changed. I was like, what the? Talking in tongues too. Talking in tongues too. So, be careful. Just because somebody's speaking in tongues doesn't mean that it's coming from God. Yes, that is part of the spirit too. But you have to discern. Because, the dog, they could talk too. Fallen angels could do the same thing like angels. The devil could do the same thing like God. It's like a copycat way, but it's done backwards, but it's similarities. Just have to discern, man. It's in the church too. Psst. Pray to God personally. The Hornsey, pray to God personally. 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 Talk to God. Like, have a relationship personally with God, yo. You be okay when you have that relationship with God. When you talk to him. When you talk to God, you and God all the time. You don't need a whole group, like just you and God. You be okay. God will show you. God will reveal. God would expose. God would do everything. He would show you your path. He would show people around your path. God would do what he's going to do. Have the relationship. Have that relationship, man. But just be careful, man. Just be careful. Because just because they smiling in your face don't mean their spirit be right, yo. That's a tactic that they do too, man. They be trying to put curses on people through prayer too. Or they be trying to suppress demons on people too. In church. You asking to get delivered or healed. They ain't doing that. They just suppressing that demon, keeping it quiet, and then that person think, oh, I feel better now, thank you. There was nothing done. That person, they already knew. They just put that demon on a tame, like they tamed it, calmed it down. Nothing got delivered. You see it. I'm telling you, step into a church. This is why people. Now you know why you being group stalked. Now you see why you being watched. Now you see why the smearing. Now you see with you, what you're talking about, because you see. Now you see why the group, why it needs to be. Now you see what you see out here. All the stuff on this on a certain person.